What is up? Happy Friday. The markets are strong this week. I mean, the past 3 days we've just been going up and up and up and up, and I'm so used to having like pullbacks and sell-offs lately that is like my brain doesn't know what to do with this. But I had a good day. And most of the things that I wanted to trade this morning, I actually was more interested in a short, but the market was telling me long, so that's always a little bit confusing. But I can show you here. So if we take a look at the SPY in the morning, let me just oops, get this on, get my little pin up. So in the morning, in the SPY in the pre-market, it was holding this daily, weekly level that I have drawn here, and then also holding above S3. So at the open, we pushed up right here right before the open, and we opened up here. And I was thinking, maybe we would get a pullback to here before we would run up because we really haven't got that many pullbacks lately over the past few days. So what I really wanted was, maybe a tiny sell-off in the morning, go grab some people that might be sitting down here and then a bounce later for a long position. So it did hold a bit at the open. It wasn't quite sure yet what it wanted to do. You can kind of see how it's just kind of like sitting here before it breaks up for the day. Something a little bit similar to yesterday. It just kind of sat there for a second. But so I traded Facebook, and my initial entry on Facebook was actually a short position, but I flipped it because the market told me to. So if we take a look at Facebook, let me just take my pivots off and I'll show you the higher time frame so you can see what I've been looking at. So on Facebook, what we have is we've got this big sell-off, right? So everyone has obviously seen that happen. But then if you back up on the weekly chart, you get this kind of area here. So we've got this range that was set from a while ago. And today on Facebook and recently, we've been around the top of this area. So I'm really interested to see how the stock reacts when we're at this area. And today, that area also happened to be R3. And I like it when my pivots align with my weekly and daily range levels. So if we bring it here, I'll put my pivots back on. At the open, if I put it on the 2-minute chart, it's a little bit easier to see what I was seeing. So at the open, we got the this push up, right? To I don't know if you can hear that, but my dog has decided he's gonna make his bed and he's gonna make it on my workout mat, so it's very loud. So we got the push up to this level and a rejection of it. And we had a lot of volume right away in the morning, and then it just kind of like faded. So I was like, we don't have a lot of like continued volume. So I'm a little unsure if we're going to break this level. And actually, if you look at the 1-minute chart, it's even easier to see what happened with the volume here. So we've got this big push up at the open, right? And then just like totally like just normal volume right after that. This is 2.5 million shares at the open. This is a lot. That's a lot of volume. Um, but had I had a level down here and that volume would have come in, that would have made sense to me as a break. But I would be looking for this kind of volume at my level, and maybe my level was just a little bit off. I don't know. But anyways, so I shorted it, and you can see here I shorted it, and then it dropped, right? So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Here we go. And then it kind of hung out for a little while, and it just kind of like chopped along sideways while the market was trying to figure out what it was doing. And felt comfortable staying in it because I was still below my level right here and below R3. But the Qs were pushing up, and the market started to finally break out. And as soon as the market broke out and the Qs just kept pushing, we broke this level. And I was like, you know what? This is actually a long for the day. And I'll show you the daily chart too, because based on the daily chart, it makes a little bit more sense that it's a long as well. But instead of getting out, I just immediately flipped it. And I'll show you the daily chart really quick before we talk about the rest of the trade. But on the daily, if I zoom in here, so we have this level here is the one that we're watching, right? This area here, 208.66. And if you take a look at these candles from the last 2 days, I mean, they're just solid bodied candles. So there's really no wicks on them as we're pushing. And the volume is pretty normal, for this size of a candle. We're just pushing up into this level. I don't see any major rejection. It's basically Facebook has been moving as the market's been moving. And, we've had really solid days in the market. So Facebook looks pretty similar to that. So I could see why it would be a breakout of this level. There's not any clear rejection of it yet. So on the 5-minute chart, we'll just take it there. I flipped it and entered here for a long position. And then honestly, I just wanted to hold until the market told me otherwise. So until the market told me that it was time to roll over, or we had a target area on Facebook that I saw as possible resistance, I was planning to get out. So my main target on this was, we back it up here on the 60-minute chart. So my first area that I was concerned about, that I wanted to watch for in case we rejected, was this area right here, right? So when we got over there, we did hold below it a little bit and we struggled at it. And I was just watching to see what was happening in the market on the tapes on the tape at the time. And eventually we broke through it. So my next spot that I was interested in was, if you back this up here, is this sort of area right here, which I had marked at like 215.55 was the area that I marked. So that's kind of what I was trying to ride it up to. I thought, we dipped down here, we kind of held it, then we broke below it, and we tried to get back to it right here. So I saw this as possible resistance. We have value up here, so I thought, we could potentially get up there. It would only be like, I think it was like 30 cents over the ATR or something like that. So there's definitely room to get there. And definitely possible. But so yeah, once I flipped this, I just held it all day long. Over 4 hours of a hold on this. Yeah, probably my longest hold, to be completely honest, without any partials. But I just, pulled a Missy Elliott, put my thing down, flipped it and reversed it, and then just held it all day long. I eventually got out here. So I had a target for a limit order out at, it was at down here, 215.48 was where I set it at. My level was 215.45 or 55, so I just put a little bit below that. But you can see that it's like setting up this range at the top here, and we could really go either way. But I told myself, we've been in this so long today that if I lose the bottom of this range, I'm just gonna get out. And we did. We lost the bottom of it, and I was like, you know what? Told myself that's what I was gonna do, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I got all out there. So from there to there, and I'd say that's a pretty good Friday. And then I've got one small trade right now going on JD. Bring it over to that real quick. I've just got some range orders set here. I can show you where I got this level from. So I like this this area on JD, right? So to me, this is just kind of like a fake breakout. It couldn't hold above it, didn't set any more ranges above it. And now after we've sold off, we're climbing again, and we're pushing right into this area. So if I take it over to the 15, well, let's do the 2. We can do the 2. Yeah, that works. All right. So this morning, I didn't catch it on the first run. So we got up here. Don't mind my Fibonacci level. I like to use them sometimes for partials if I don't have any ranges nearby, and I'm just kind of like looking for areas where maybe algos or other people are looking to take profit. When something's like really wavy like this, it's hard for me to find like an intraday range to take a partial at. So I like to throw the Fibonacci lines on sometimes. But so we pushed up this morning. We got just below this before we had a rejection. This is the level up here from the weekly chart. And I was not paying attention, so I missed that and thought, if it comes back to it, I'll pay attention and see what it does. We got back to it in the later part of the day and pushed up above it. And when we were up here, we threw quite a bit of volume here. And I just thought, this looks to me like it might be a fake breakout of this level, just with all this, selling volume above it. So I waited for it to break below the level right here, and I just entered in with my stop at 10% of the ATR up here. I partialed at the 50% retracement line from the morning trend. So back this up. So basically I just, is that the one? Oh no, I actually partialed at the 50% retracement line of this one. So I actually did this move here. So this is my Fibonacci is drawn here. This would be 100% of this move here. So in the earlier part of the day, if we haven't made a big pullback yet, I'll do it for the first move up, and then I'll look for a 50% retracement of that, which was this. But now we're on kind of like the second wave of it. So I'm looking for a 50% retracement of this, which I did, which is right here. Took a 50% there, and now I've got range orders that I'm about to get triggered again. Hopefully it gets me. I've got this one just above R4, and it's also I didn't want to make this too confusing, but I'm going to tell you anyways. If you draw a Fibonacci line from this point to this point and this point to this point, so you basically have like two waves, you get kind of like a double line here. So you get a Fibonacci line from both of those drawings right here. And sometimes the double ones can be like really strong support or resistance, and R4 is just above that. So I put my range order there because that's going to probably be an area of resistance potentially, who knows. And then a full HER move. So this has gone over 8 points today. A regular HER for JD is about 5, a little over 5, yeah, 5.5. And this has gone 8.5. So I'm looking at this thinking, if we do kind of sell off into the close, maybe we could get a typical HER move, which would actually be just below here. I think it'd be like 63, no, 62.50 or something like that. So it'd be a little bit lower, but R3 is just down here too. So I'm just kind of thinking like, I think R3 is right there, something. So I'm just thinking, close to a full HER from my entry for the afternoon, but we'll see. I don't know if it'll get that far, but I've got a range order if it does, and we'll just kind of let it do its thing. Yeah, so good day on Facebook and JD. I had one little loss on Futu. I just set a limit order and it stopped me out. I can show you really quick. Why not? So I actually wasn't looking at this because I was manually in Facebook. And when I'm manually in something, I want to have like most of my, like pretty much all of my attention on that, right? Because I don't have any like hard stops that are looking to be triggered or anything. I'm like literally just watching and like doing it myself. So in that instance, if there's another level on something that I'm like really interested in playing, I will just set out a limit order and I'll just set my hard stop with it, and then just kind of let it play out. So I was a little bit short bias this morning on Futu, thinking that we would push into this level and then we would sell down. So I had a stop set out here and it broke it. And had I been over here watching it and maybe watching the L2, one of my trading buddies told me that if I had seen the L2, I would have definitely flipped this for a long, or at least considered taking it for a long. I wasn't looking at it. So, but that's called risk management, right? So if you're just trying to do limit orders and you're unable to tend to it, make sure you have your stop set out so that you can control your risk. So I got stopped out, but this ended up being a friggin' awesome mover today. Futu is tricky. Sometimes it doesn't move like this. Sometimes it moves like a total trash, like just like this. But yeah, would have been a good one too. So overall, a really good day in the markets. That Facebook hold was good. I'm glad I got out. It's starting to roll over. So yeah, JD is good. A nice little end of day trade. And hopefully you guys had a good day, a good week, and have a great weekend. I will catch you next week. Peace.